at that point. But for now, we will be moving into our brainstorming session. Allow me to tell you about this next segment that we're moving into. So this segment on brainstorming, ladies and gentlemen, will explore ways on how we can foster collaboration between higher education institutions and the industry sector as well. I have the question for the brainstorming session that will be put on screen right now. And while we wait for the question to come up on screen, this session is going to be moderated by Professor V. Kanagasingam, who is a Vice Chancellor of the Eastern University. Before I invite Professor to come up, I'd like to have the question up on screen. And as the question comes up, I'd also like to tell you that you have 5 minutes to be able to delve into this key question that we will have right now. And we will have each table being one group. So in your groups, you will have 5 minutes to discuss your insights, your solutions to the question that's being posed. And after the 5 minutes of discussion are up, we will probably select 2 representatives from the audience to come and share their thoughts and their findings from their table. So with that being said, let's now dive straight into the brainstorming session. I'd like to welcome our moderator, Professor V. Kanagasingam, to take over. Let's put our hands together for our moderator, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. Due to the time limitations, we will directly go to the brainstorming session. Today morning onwards, we are having different inputs about the challenges and opportunities about this Erasmus project. Here, the 5 minutes time is given to every table. Please look into this challenge. University is doing a number of research. End of the research could be ended with the publications. The argument of the scholar, they have not given opportunity to commercialize. So the question is, what are the key challenges in commercializing university research? Considering the barriers that have been identified, obstructing effective collaboration between higher education institution and industry sector. That is a scenario. We are having a lot of industrial experiences. At the meantime, most of the academic institution is working alone, isolated institution. Industry is also working alone. This is a challenge right now. Key challenges for commercializing our university researchers. Please focus on the table. Discuss for 5 minutes on this brainstorming session. Thank you. I hope time is up. You have derived number of key challenges. We know we are the academia doing research, end of that, we are coming with the invention and innovations. Making to the commercialized product is a major challenge for us. So this is a time, please come forward, share your, what is the most important challenge we are facing right now. I am inviting volunteer from any tables, please. Here, yeah, yes.
So our members had a discussion and they came up with the first one as a challenge is different objectives. Now industry is going for the applied research and all these things. Now some sort of universities going basic research and that is one. And next one is these IP rights. So
Yeah.
that is a big problem most of the cases. Now different, we have these IP rights, but the universities and industry, so we have to come to some sort of agreement on that one. And the innovative ecosystems, so that is not, that is not developed well. Yeah, and then market readiness, most of the research and other stuff, so we are not addressing that area as well. And talent and expert, that is not into that level. And R&D, the funding and the resources, that is another limitation. Yeah, so those are the major stuff.
Yes, okay, thank you. For the next, yeah, please. Over there.
Can I?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. To add that, actually this is two sides I am looking at. One side is, as academics, are we really producing something industry needs?
Yeah.
That is one important thing. We do research, but do we do research for what industry wants, what the public wants? What is the percentage of research that we can commercialize?
Yeah.
We do research mostly in our interest, not probably the society wants. That is one side.
Yeah.
Other side is because I work in Japan, I studied Japan as R&D engineer. So I know that when you do projects, we need government, industry, and academia. These three entities should collaborate each other. They should fund also. Then only we can develop something what industry wants. Of course, if you talk about the processes in our universities, this process is really long. So as academics, we don't even think about that because we really frustrated about these systems. If you get funding, the procedures to get some items to produce something is not easy. So it's not supporting, as you mentioned, our structure. So those are the main barriers that we have.
Okay. So one more, I think, due to the time limitation, yes. There are
So
three.
Yeah, two things they discuss is common, I think common for all the universities. We see another dimension where these, whether exactly our academia has the industrial-oriented ideas. Even we are traditionally, it's a newly introduced things, a couple of years back. So how far the academia has the capacity to work towards the industrialization.
Industrial requirements.
So that type of things needs to be developed. And as they said, the government, university, industrial collaboration needs to be made compulsory. So even though sometimes we are doing research, we have less opportunities to industrialization. So it's covering many opportunities needs to be hide in the cupboard. So basically that's the important thing we believe, and entirely the higher education system or structure needs to be revised again, because as my experience, I am the Dean Faculty of Technology. So far we have passed out 2 batches. I am not sure that whether all the 100% of students are get opportunities to get the jobs regarding industrial sites or sectors. So still there are some gaps.
Okay, one more due to this time limitation, please.
key challenges, I have 5 key challenges within a short period. Come from our group. First one is lack of financial resources. I think the UGC also, morning said UGC chairman also, they don't have much funds for research. Then we have to find out the Erasmus plus some other way to get the funds. Then the bottlenecks of the university system. I think the whole day we talk about the bottlenecks today. Then most of the research, we have a personal motive. After we get the professorship, I think the publication trend is going minus. Don't kill me, that is the truth sometimes. Then the no legal provision to commercialize the research, especially lack of support from the university, maybe the researchers, they're not getting a full support from the university system to commercialize it or getting a patent and all. Then whatever we do, I think we are lacking with the marketing side, propaganda. Yes. We are not marketing. Maybe the private sector, they market in the media, but we do everything in the books, we do everything in the research and keep in the university library. That is also one of the reasons. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe,
Can we get one more chance?
1 point.
Right. I think there is a fundamental issue because we have been discussing this matter for a long time, and but we are still trying to figure out what the solution would be. You know that there's a thing called technology push and market pull. So what I feel is we as researchers, we don't get the real problem statement, or we don't know how to define the real problem statement when it comes to the industry needs. That's not because of their weakness, that's maybe because of the weakness in the industry that we have. Our industry is not really looking at coming up with disruptive technologies, most of the industries, and they're just trying to figure out their day-to-day matters. But if there is a way that either the government or any other institution or body can connect our researchers with the global industry, maybe through foreign missions or expatriates who are working in good companies such as Intel, NASA, Panasonic, whatever it is, and get the real problem statement. And so that we can figure out that these are the things that we need to solve, and then focus on that. That focus is not there because we don't know what the exact problem is. I think that's the fundamental issue that we have. It doesn't matter whether we come up with new systems or trying to revamp the thing. I don't think that we'll be able to resolve it until we resolve that fundamental matter. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I believe I also agree with these all the BOs. Especially, I'm expecting both institutions are working independently. So there's no any space to create the dialogue. Even though we have a space in the dialogue, maybe the faculty board and some other forums, but which cannot be create a space to connect the industrialists. So exactly they found it. Who become a managing person or connecting in the sector, that could be the government. Government could be the intermediate role to connecting the academia with the industries. So I believe the Ministry of Education or Higher Education create a space, give a space for the dialogue. That forum could be a space to connect these both parties. He is also stating that even though we are doing a number of research, but those research are coming from the academia, should not convert our real world cases into the research idea. So these are the area we have to focus on this, considering the time limitation, the intervention of the government to connecting this major sector, especially to move our academic higher education industry to the next level, highly needed from the Ministry of Higher Education. Thank you very much for everyone. I hope the Ministry of Education or Higher Education take this message to the next level. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much to Professor Kanagasingam, and thank you all for your very insightful sharing. I can sense that you've got a lot more to share and to express, but of course, due to time limitations, we are unable to give everybody an opportunity. In fact, we'd like to let you know that we've invited today even directors from the University Business Linkage cells who are here. We also have invited industry professionals. We're unable to give them all a forum to speak today, but we have taken the step of inviting them to be a part of this discussion. Well, with that, we're now moving into our panel discussion, which is going to be an open forum for all of you to address your queries to the panelists who will be joining us on stage and on screen as well. So without further ado, I'd now like to invite the panelists to join us up on stage and on screen. We'd like to be joined right now by Mr. Eugenio Delfino, who is our first panelist. We also have Senior Professor Sujiva Amarasena, Vice Chancellor, University of Ruhuna, Mr. H.K. Vikramasinghe, Deputy Director, General Demand Side Management, Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority. We have Dr. Jenny Elmako, who will be joining us on screen. We have Dr. Ashikur Rahman. He's also joining us on screen. He is Regional Manager, Asia, for centralized support to the network of Erasmus Plus national focal points. And to help guide this conversation further, we have our moderator, who is Senior Professor Nilanthi De Silva, Vice Chancellor, University of Kelaniya. So with that, let's now put our hands together as we welcome our panelists and our moderator to take this discussion forward. Put your hands together for them, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to the EU office, the representative office in Colombo, as well as the Ministry of Education, the Higher Education Division, for having organized this session. We've been listening to a lot of presentations today, and this is really the one session that we have for allowing participants to raise questions. But before we go there, a quick question to Mr. Eugenio Delfino. You've listened to more than, I think, about 12 or 13 presentations today, and of ongoing projects as well as things that have been completed. What is your take-home message that is to be issues that need to be addressed both by the EU as well as Sri Lankan universities in improving what we do in terms of the Erasmus Plus CBHE projects?
So indeed, I personally believe that it has been really a pleasure, at least for my part. I learned a lot. Although I was thinking to have a clear image of all the project that we managed, but what I found here was much more passion and a live event. I think one of the aspects that I noticed is that there is a need to carry out and continue this dialogue. Maybe at sector level, whatever, if it's energy or climate change and everything. And I think with the support of the Ministry of the Education, would be possible to, and of course my colleagues from the European delegation, it would be possible to have sector meetings jointly with the business sector as well, the National Association, in order to continue on to discuss it. I think there is the need of continuing this dialogue. That's what I learned more. And then, on the other part, I thank you very much for the challenges that were also very well underlined. I took notes about what we have to do from a European perspective in order to facilitate the access of and simplifying some guidelines, and there is always a way of doing better.
Thank you. So we will hope that the ministry will take the initiative in organizing the sectoral meetings that you talked about that would enable us to review those projects sector by sector and do things a little bit better. Good. And Sujiva, as a Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, I think you've overseen the coordination of a lot of Erasmus Plus projects. What are your thoughts about how you would look at the value of those projects and the impact that it has on the country as a whole?
I think in University of Rona, I have overseen perhaps more than 10 Erasmus Plus projects from the time I took over. Yes, but I have two key issues that I am little worried about. One is about alignment with sustainable development goals. I think all our work, not just in the country, but I think globally, we need to look at how the world or all the countries in the world would achieve sustainable development goals. Can we align all these Erasmus programs to target some of these, if not one, more than one sustainable development goals apart from education? So I think there is something that all of you need to think of, because I find that even the education and knowledge among the university community and specifically on students about sustainable development goals is particularly weak. So that's one area. Second area is about human capacity development. I think we do develop capacity, but the weakness I have seen is about developing capacity in every kind of generation at different levels. Like, for example, there are senior staff members who are experts in this area, who are capable of writing good project proposals, getting connected, getting things approved in a competitive environment. But it doesn't necessarily train young people. So I think we should look at training people at three different levels. Of course, the senior people supervise, then the middle grade people, maybe at professor level, maybe senior lecturer grade 1 level in our setup, who can come in and learn a lot and perhaps work for another 10 years in the same kind of project. Then another level, maybe 1 or 2 academics from very junior senior lecturer grade 2 level, who are trained for the future. So that doesn't necessarily happen in all our projects. And of course, I think for all entire university system, we need to streamline the system of running these projects. That's about, I think some of those projects that we have done have been very successful, and I think most are. But we have had few problems in the past. I get all our principal investigators or lead coordinator to sign an agreement with the university to complete the project. That person is individually responsible to complete the project with the team. That's an important thing.
I think Jenny raised a very important point about when people log into the system and they register, that there needs to be continuity, that we need to keep a record so that whoever takes over is able to carry it forward.
People can leave the university system and then there must be somebody taking over. Unless somebody is legally taking it over, there will be that. Then the second issue, the researchers, students, masters, PhD students coming under the project, they are not sometimes accountable, and they need to sign an agreement with the principal investigator and the university so that they complete the work. They are legally accountable. Unless you have those two things, I found a lot of problems in projects that had been signed by the university before 2019, which I have resolved with those two approaches from that time onwards, and which are working right now. Right. So, few things.
Thank you, Sujiv. A lot of food for thought. I think maybe each university should think about having a team developing the project, and that team should have the senior, middle and junior level people involved. Okay, so we have about 20 minutes left in the discussion. Can we have people putting, I'm sure there are questions that need to be posed to the panel members who are here with us. Mr. Vikramasinghe is from the Power and the Sustainable Energy Authority, and he has a lot of experience in working with the Erasmus Plus CBHE project on sustainable energy, clean energy, renewable energy project, wasn't that right? And Dr. Jenny Marco is also online with us. So questions. If you would put your hand up, we will make sure that a microphone gets to you.
Thank you. I am representing industry sector, especially ceramic sector. Just I have two things. The first thing is regarding, I was there for this from the beginning of this all the presentation, but one thing I didn't see in this all these research papers. I didn't see what is the, because there are cost factors and all things was there, but I didn't see anything. What is the impact, economic impact gain to the country with all these research papers? I didn't see that. That is number one. Then I have a very specific question. Now, actually, mainly in the ceramic sector, maybe in the export sector. Now, currently, Sri Lankan export product export is value annual value is $12 billion. 12 billion. That is the value. When our this import value is just 20 billion US dollars. When it comes to exports, as exporters, main issue we are facing. When I consider 2022 January, when we compare 2022 January, dollar value is 210 rupees, now 300. That is, dollar appreciation is just 45%. But most of industry sector, cost of production has increased from January 2022 to now almost 80 to 90%. When come to most of industry, especially like ceramics, it is mainly due to energy. Earlier, when it comes to diesel or any fuel, the increase is almost to 200%. Earlier 111 and then 333 or something, 300% increase. Then electricity bill from in average 20 per unit, 20 rupees to 40 rupees. Now it has come to 30 or something. The final issue is our cost of production has increased 80%, but dollar appreciation is 45%, 43%. Then there's a 35% gap. With that 35% gap, our competitive advantage in this international market we are losing. If this issue is continued maybe for next 1 or 2 years, definitely our export 100% will collapse. That is my issue, because main factor is for all the industry, even government, energy, like electricity bill and the fuel. That is the main issue. That is the specific question. Just as from industry, I want to put that to academia or maybe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for expressing your needs from the industry side. Maybe there are colleagues from the management side who would like to work with you. Maybe, I think this is a very specific question that relates to a specific industry. Professor Kennedy, maybe you would like to respond very briefly.
Thank you very much for your issue. Now, we are in the education sector. Our output is not immediately we can't make an output. Our output, the impact to the society, it's coming little later. Not like we produce the product and sell. Now, good example I can tell you in my waste management MSc projects, once we deliver the lecturing and all kind of things, students are coming with new business models. Waste is a gold. Right? They come up with the new business models and they go in with entrepreneurial skills. That is what university, we can't produce, overnight product like the industry expecting from us. We do service. I think the benefits come in little later. Now, when you go through all these projects, what we have done, impact is there. The economic impact, fully you can find out, right? That is, but not coming tomorrow, day after tomorrow. It takes little time because we are working with the human resources. That is the one answer. But anyway, we can work with you for all issues, like, not in the technical side, in the management side. In our university, we have a capability, a lot of professors, a lot of professionals. We can give a proper helps to you. Thank you.
But can I also ask Mr. Eugenio, whether you have in your project format assessment as an outcome report of what the economic impact of the project in terms of national development, is that something that you would look for as an outcome?
Yeah, Absolutely. So now first reflection, you have experienced now the dialogue between business and academics and the approach that the two sides has. I think is very much interesting on that. We do like business and created this link. We repeated several times. The point is also try to understand how the business sector is ready to propose some change in order, for example, to be more sustainable and let, for example, and that is the element that can create a perfect link to the research that are done at university level, for example. But I still believe that, and everything is possible, of course, as we said several times, having on board business sector. But it is not different boxes. You should find the perfect match, the perfect link in order to create, starting from the need analysis of what is linking the ceramic sector and the management, new model of managing eco.
Thank you. We have a question from that side again, Dr. Surendra Kumaran.
Yeah, I'm Professor Surendra Kumaran. Now, I'm looking at this in a different angle with this race here. You also touched up that the thing is we are all applying research or maybe the capacity building and all kind of a thing. But that whatever the things that we think it as a kind of a priority that may contribute to the economic development or maybe that for the development of the field. But that we don't have any kind of a national kind of a direction. So where this academic research or our things when we are looking for, maybe that whether the Erasmus grants or any other international grants, because we are not getting enough. Actually, this internationally, there's a norm is now spend around 3% GDP for the research. So the most of the things and how the governments are thinking about to increase their investment on science and the research. So unfortunately, our budgetary allocation is somewhere around 0.2-0.3%. So then utilizing that also, we have a lot of issues at the various level. So but then when we are getting for international grants, so for me, I'm thinking that I'm from no medical background and thinking, but I see this is maybe the good project. So then we are getting the partners and applying for this. But I'm saying that's kind of a national kind of a thing, every sector, and also the sector-wise prioritize. This is country that is needed, and that kind of a direction is there. Then it is possible for academics and industry. So particularly now, actually we connected with the transfusion medicine. We started to work with the National Blood Transfusion Center, and also we are thinking that sometime that internationalize and bring some income to the country. So like that, maybe we need to think about that kind of a mechanism. Thank you.
Okay. Can we get the microphone over here, please? You also wanted, Dr. Gamage, you also wanted a question, yes? Okay, we come back to you later.
Right, thank you very much. Now still we have to think that triple helix system where the industry, society and the government should come into the collaboration. For that we have to have the innovation ecosystem. So the next thing is that our universities are still the subsistence universities, 100% depend on the money coming from the government. So if you take the university history, you can see that universities starting as the teaching universities, then they come to the entrepreneurial universities. So now the government has to think that how universities be contributed to the entrepreneurial universities so they can collaborate with the industry and come with the research projects jointly. But we don't have policy environment for that. So if you start something with the private sector, there is no private-public cooperation, legislatives, then financial management, everything is not there. So there is a very big gap in the policy. So that it's high time to UGC to think very seriously on this, that the and develop the policies so that we can jointly work with the private sector. So in that case, then the applied research, you can discuss with the industry, then you can get the research project, we can convert students to do the research, and then that can be industrialized. So the patent rights, everything that come at that time, if there is no ecosystem for the innovation, you cannot talk about all this. Then we are like in the private bus. We just fighting together, but we don't have the umbrella to work together. This is the situation in Sri Lanka.
Thank you. I think that's an issue that has been brought up repeatedly under the AHEAD project as well, the World Bank funded AHEAD project, and maybe this is something that we need to take forward with the ministry's oversight and the UGC. Okay, Dr. Gamage.
So, thank you very much. So, actually, my concern is the Erasmus Plus CBHE program is focusing on capacity building. Actually, is directly not focusing on the industry. Of course, it's goes for the industry. I have two concerns. So, actually, I was an alumni of the Erasmus Plus in 2017. I got those scholarships and I went with some countries. So, from 2017 to 2014, still we have the problems of getting visa. So it's a major issue. So based on that, so a lot of students have missed their opportunities to go other countries and get the experience. So my suggestion is, can we have a regional office to direct students and the local bodies to get help for the visa process? Because it's a huge thing. So sometimes people have very much difficulties getting even for appointment from embassy. So it's really demotivating the students. And also once they go to the other countries, so they have problems comes with the language barrier. Because all this comes with the European countries, they speak thousands of languages. So I think with this capacity building, we should have, maybe if you can have initiate a regional office for the bureaucratic things as well as the visa, and also give some exposure for the cultural things. Thank you.
Mr. Eugenio, can I refer that back again in your direction? Is there any possibility of additional support with regard to visa arrangements?
So I hope it is not a secret, but at the end of July, the ambassador of Sri Lanka met my director, the director at the European Commission, who is responsible for the education, so Erasmus, and in a very polite way raised this point about visa. So there is I usually put, and the partner here know me very well. If there is a problem, we talk and we put on the table, not under the table. So yes, I mean, it was pretty clear from all the challenges that you raised out this morning that we have a problem there with visa. There is a directive, however, at the European Union that encouraged the embassies of the European Union in the country, so here in Sri Lanka, to agitate, to process the projects that are in relation to mobility within a found program of the European Union, so namely Erasmus. I was discussing yesterday with John Hess, the head of the cooperation, and I think he instructed me also to have, let's say, a list of cases in order to go back to the member states represented here and try to find a positive solution for that. So the embassy will be in charge of collecting or endorse your visa request in the purpose of an Erasmus program in order to facilitate that. So that is the idea. I'm not talking that tomorrow, if you ring at the embassy, of the Italian embassy, they will give you the visa. But that is the direction that we would like to have.
Thank you. I think that should help. So I hope that works out. It won't eliminate all the problems, but anyway.
It will not eliminate all the problems because, I mean, if you see, there was one incident where a particular person who had gone for overseas postgraduate training was brought back to Sri Lanka for some criminal offense done in Sri Lanka before going overseas. Now, that kind of clearance can never be done by this office. It has to be done by the diplomatic mission that is granting the visa. So that and Sri Lankan agency. So I think these two things are two different things. Giving this Erasmus opportunity and then getting visa depends on the person himself or herself as well. So it will never
sometimes just getting the appointment for the visa interview itself can
absolutely
take a long time.
Yeah.
So that can be streamlined and expedited.
And I've seen the same problem with Fulbright and even Commonwealth. Right?
We have one last question from there.
So I would like to ask a question to Mr. Vikramasinghe. So what are the possible research avenues that you see in power and energy sector, especially in the sustainable energy?
Good. There are many things happening in the energy transition area. If you are talking about, there is a 70% renewable energy in power generation target set by the government. So, and we have created about 14,000 employment opportunities in the solar rooftop sector alone. So there's massive demand for the workforce, trained workforce, but we have so far no proper way to deal with this problem. So there is a acute demand for labor and the technical skills, but the universities are not geared to produce that. Interventions like this really help. So we collaborate with foreign universities through platforms like this and get our people. But not stopping there, there are so many other research areas. For example, we recently published the biomass resource atlas for the country, and in that study alone we came up with about 15 PhD topics for people who are dealing with plant and forestry and that kind of thing. So there are ample opportunities coming from our work. And only the thing is we don't have a ready platform to collaborate with all the universities and the industry. And also we, sitting in the middle, we see a lot of disconnect between the industry and the university, especially time horizons. Universities, they need time to work on a problem, and industries want the problem solved by yesterday. Everything just now, just like this. Problem solving is something far more serious than that. So they won't commit resources, time or energy. Our industries are like that. Just to give you an example, I have worked in the industrial sectors in our neighboring country, India also. So if I ask an audience like this, what is your cost of energy as a percentage of your total product cost, they will have an answer to the 2 decimal place accuracy. But if we ask our industries, they will say energy is very expensive, electricity is very expensive. I will ask them what is the number, nobody will know. They will look at the accountant, they will look at the production engineer, but the CEO, he will not know. So that is the tragedy of our country. They are not at it. Even we are not at it. Nobody's at anything.
So maybe where the university could help, the university sector could help, is to bring in the management practices that enable the industry to actually start by identifying those energy costs and then look at how that can be reduced. Maybe it's a two-way, it needs to be interdisciplinary, management side as well as the technical and engineering side as well.
Yes, even without any foreign help, University of Colombo, they have developed a master's course in manufacturing management. Some of you may know, Master of Manufacturing Management, entirely serving the manufacturing sector of our country, productivity improvement and factory physics and all that. So it's an entirely indigenous process, so taken up by the industry, hats off to them.
So maybe another area for consideration by the participants who are here today in the room as well as those who have joined us online.
To the best of my knowledge, I know that there are 2 projects working on the sustainable energy and renewable energy, and and developing skills through master's courses and certificate courses for required for sustainable energy in the country through Erasmus. Sri Lanka and I think renewable, one is, Runa is coordinating otherwise. I think with those, some of your problems will be addressed, because I think cost of energy will go down if things go very well, but it is not a solution for tomorrow. Again, on a long-term basis.
Okay, I'm looking at the clock and it's 4:30 now, time to wrap up. We have another short presentation, I believe, before we get into the final stages. I think Mr. Ashik Rahman is going to be speaking in a few minutes, so he will have the opportunity to speak. Yeah. Okay, then thank you very much to all our panelists for your contributions. Thank you to the participants for your active engagement, for raising the issues that are important to you. I hope you got some answers, fairly satisfactory answers to the questions that you had, some thought for what we need to do in the future in terms of follow-up action. So thank you very much again to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to our esteemed panelists for sharing with us your expertise and valuable insights. And of course, thank you to all of our participants here for your very active participation and thought-provoking questions.